Well, following on from the last video we did, which had a very interesting television modulation device, which was the HackRF, I've been looking into more types of devices like this, and this is something I came across, made in the Republic of Korea, I guess South Korea. Comes a very interesting piece of kit. I don't think it's necessarily particularly recent. I think there is a newer version than this, the version 2 that's come out. What is this? Well, it's made by a company called LumanTek. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It is, for all intents and purposes, a USB enabled signal generator and modulator. Now, what's interesting about this, it's quite different to the HackRF because this is obviously a product that you buy sort of complete with the software, and we're going to have a look at the software and what we can do with it. Basically, this is a digital modulator, and depending on the software or the plugins you've purchased for it, you can use it to modulate various types of RF signals. But this is a purely digital domain device. So looking at it, it uses a 12-volt power supply. It comes with a USB 2 connector. And it came with this interesting, because I bought this on the second-hand market, some sort of an interesting cable. We'll have to figure out if we can use that one or if we need something else. It's really a nice, solid, chunky piece of equipment. At the back of it, we've got a couple of little ports, or a couple of little lights, and the lights USB RF out, ASI in, and RF out. So that's what we're going to connect up to our set-top box, because this is digital output. That's kind of the other side. And looking at the back, we've got some sort of a serial port for the device. I don't have a connector for that. I guess that's to do firmware or perhaps some other type of work on it. Power, ASI out and ASI in, made in Korea. So kind of an interesting, this must weigh about not 2 kilos, but it's certainly chunky. If you've ever picked up one of the capture cards from Asia, or capture boxes from Asia, there was one called the Asia IO HD, which was very chunky. Even though it was small and you picked it up, it was like feeling a solid piece of metal, and this is kind of what it is. I think a lot of this is heat sink, because there's no fan in this. So we're going to take a look at this and see if we can modulate digital TV. But just having a look at the bottom, there's some interesting options here. So this particular one's enabled for DVB-T or H and DVB-C. So I hope I've bought one with the right modulations, but you can also get them or enable different modulations. So there's DAB, which obviously I think would be radio, open cable, no idea, attenuator, no idea, well, other than being an attenuator, I guess, ATSC, which is the American digital standards, I suppose that's the European, that's the American, ISDB, I guess that's some sort of a ISDN kind of modulation, perhaps, excuse my ignorance if I'm wrong. I don't know much about these, but I do have a suspicion it's going to work on DVB transmission, or certainly over a wire transmission modulation. So we're going to just try and hook that up and see what we can do with it. So stand by. Okay, so it's day 2 of fiddling with this thing. I've installed what they call the T-Pump software. That is the software that comes with this device for Windows, and it's a very impressive piece of software. Basically, it allows you to either record from an ASI input, which is obviously digital, to a file, like say from a broadcast, or you could save the file and play it back out as an RF signal and input it into a set-top box of some kind or another. So I'm just trying to get it working, and I'm struggling a bit. I'm not sure if the file I'm using to play back through the modulator is the correct format, and I've actually sent an email to the seller to ask if they've maybe got a file, a known working file. But aside from that, aside from me actually being able to show it works, I'll just show you some of the things that we've set up here. So we've got it set to a frequency of 474 megahertz, which is basically channel 21 on the UHF band. We've got it set to DVB-T or H, which is basically, as far as I understand, the UK standard for terrestrial broadcasting. And we have got this device, which is showing you a graph of what's in this file. So you could have multiple services in here, that kind of thing. This file has only got one channel, one service in here. And that's just a file I've got. And the idea is you just basically push play. And I would think if a file was wrong, it would complain. But this file says playing. And if I go here to my test preview box, I've not managed yet to get it to work. It just says no signal. So I basically just got it on a little whip antenna, if you like, over here. And the idea being that it would just capture on here what's coming off from this antenna here. So I wanted to check if there's actually a signal coming off here. And if we go here to my little RF testing unit, this is a tiny RF frequency analyzer, a very nice little analyzer, and I've set it to monitor the frequency range. This one's monitoring at the moment, that little spike in the middle is 477 megahertz. So that is showing me that it is actually broadcasting on that channel. What it's broadcasting here, I'm not sure. But if I switch off the unit, it's not a huge power signal, because as I walk away, you'll see it just kind of, it almost, by the time I get to like this part of the office, which is maybe 2 meters away, it's almost gone, right? But at this distance, which is all I want really, I can always boost it up if I wanted to later. From this distance, from there to there, is not more than like 40 centimeters. So there really should, in my mind, there should be something appearing on the screen at that frequency, which it's not. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit just to figure it out. But if I film that, let me stop broadcasting and you'll see what happens. If I stop broadcasting, sorry, let me try that again. If I stop broadcasting, boom, signal's gone. Now if I change it a bit and I put the signal a bit higher, I can go up to channel 22. And the reason I got this little meter here is because I can, basically figure out what frequency I'm getting the best gain out of. So let's try 22. Yep, there it is. You see, now we're on channel 22. That looks a bit better. So what's nice about this also is, because I can see a visual representation, I can basically shorten the antenna and see if it's gone up. I'm a little bit higher now, I think. If I make it a bit more short. Yeah. So basically it just lets me optimize the signal quality here. And this is a great little device, the Tiny SA. It's basically a frequency analyzer, and it can show you what's going on in the radio spectrum digitally, which is something that I'm enjoying. So there is the signal, but I haven't been able to produce a picture with it yet. Okay, so there's been some good developments. I managed to get a sample file very kindly from the seller, and what I've discovered is that these files are extremely complicated, in that you have to have the exact right information. This has to match a very specific profile, and if anything is out, if this is set differently to what the file is, or if the file is not right, you get nothing. There's no sort of gray area. It's either exactly what you want or it's nothing. But right now on 474 megahertz, I'm running a 5-minute file. There you can see this file was recorded off BBC 2, not sure when, and I'm not sure how many programs are in this file. I need to actually check that. I'm assuming one, but I could be wrong. So here we've got all the information. It's playing, and there on my little whip antenna is receiving my digital DVB-T box, my terrestrial digital box, and there's the signal, and there it is. It's looping. Sorry, my antenna, obviously my antenna is not optimum. Right, it knew it was recording now, so now I decided to stand by. Yeah, it's quite touchy, the signal here, but that's because I'm going over the air with something that probably is not designed to be over the air. It's probably just designed to be hardwired into the receiver. But there we are. It is broadcasting a file in digital, terrestrial digital, from there to there. Let's just see if we can get the sound. Let's just see if we can get a bit more signal out of this thing. Stand by. It's very touchy, unbelievably touchy. You know, if you thought analog signal was touchy, wait till you play with digital. Wow, this is just touch-a-rama. Okay, well, I don't know what happened to my sound. It disappeared now, but I know it's there, and there it is playing the video. There it is. And what's interesting is if I push information, I actually get it's very strange, the sound has disappeared, but if I push information, I actually get aspect, full screen, letterbox. You can kind of actually switch your whole everything basically is saved in the file, and you can basically totally record a broadcast digitally and keep everything in the broadcast as it was when it was broadcast, which is quite interesting. It's sort of like an ISO image for a broadcast, if you can imagine that. You know, all the information is stored there. Will the time be in there? Let's have a look and see. Audio. It says English MP1, so let's just see. I don't know why I've lost the audio. I think that might be more to do with the output from the HDMI to PAL converter. Let's just see here. There is no other channel here. Obviously, this is a complete new thing that I'm, you know, working on. Info. Okay, so there we go. It gives you everything. That's very interesting. So everything is saved in the file. This program was broadcast on the 25th of the 4th, 2022. And that's all the information is there. Wow, the teletext information, everything. The quality of the signal is only 15, so that I need to work on. So let's see if I can get that better.
Is it butter churn?
Yes, it's a nice front there. It's got the maker's name there.
Oh, there we go.
And, you know, it's lovely.
It's nice.
It's nice.
I really like this.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, I do. Do you know, if you turn it over, that's a lovely bit of oak on the top there, isn't it? And actually, the thing I like about it is its originality. To me, it doesn't look like it's been messed around with. You've got the name, which is really nice, and the name is repeated not only there, Wade and Sons Leeds, you've got the lovely brass.
Now I must just repeat to you that this is not just picking up free view. First of all, boron wood is in a black hole in terms of RF. For whatever reason, FM, DAB and also television signals are abysmal. You know, in the old analog days you needed a masthead amplifier, even though we were only like 20 miles from the centre of London. Horrendous. But if you drive out of Borehamwood and you go up towards the A41, you get perfect signals. We are in some sort of a little ditch or a little impression that we just get no signal. So let me be clear, there is no way on this earth that I would pick up digital video television with this with this Freeview box without a television aerial on the roof and just a telescopic aerial that's only that high. Okay, so this is not a demonstration of Freeview. This is a channel 21 modulated file that's coming off my PC, and then that, just to ascertain that, to sort of confirm all that, here is the information. There's your buffer, there is the file. You can obviously record in the same way as you can play. If you have a digital receiver, you can then plug it into the unit and capture these video signals off the air in their original glory. So a very satisfactory result for an initial test. Now the question will be, how do I match up my homegrown files to be the same specification as this test file? That I'll have to figure out. That might be a little bit more complex and probably a little bit more challenging to figure out. I did do some further research on the different formats here. Are they clear? They're clear enough there. So DVB-T is the UK standard. Basically terrestrial. Okay, DVB-T 4K is obviously terrestrial as well. DVB-C is cable. So if you were to modulate this for cable TV, you could do it like that. And DVB-S is satellite. But for all intents and purposes, this is how you would modulate a signal that is saved as a transport stream. So the transport stream file is key to this working. And I'm going to try and play around a bit with that and see if I can get some more results. But I'm quite impressed so far now. It seems to be stable now. So the antennas were too long. I had to break them down into very, very short. I mean, that's just the initial length of the antenna there and there. But here we're getting a stable picture. Well, a little bit of garbled.
It's a shame there's quite a bit of wear on that. It's obviously been used.
I don't know. It's got some nice colours and nice...
Okay, so here's one very cool addendum to this video. After reloading the transport stream, I discovered that it may be one file, but it's not just one TV channel. Allow me to demonstrate. On one RF channel, let's see how many TV channels I'm actually getting off one file. Let's watch.
Bang! That's what we wanted. Overrepresented house.
It is changing.
It is changing, but not fast enough. And I think that the kind of comments which were made about Angela Rayner and the fact that...
These are all the channels that are on that transponder.
Hello, Judge Mouse, it's me, Squeaky McSpeaker turn! Dad?
Once we get to
That is insane. How many channels have I gone through that are on one frequency? On one RF channel, we've got all of these channels. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is from one transport stream and one RF channel, 21. I'm up to channel 10 already. There we go. We have got 10 channels out of one file, and by capturing the stream, we've got all of these channels. So look at how they squeeze channels into one file. No wonder you can record 4 channels at a time on your Skybox. It's ridiculous. They're being schnooped. They can do more. They can probably record the entire bandwidth. Look at this. We've got 5 minutes of all these different channels. Wow. And it locks in quickly, much quicker than if you were doing a normal broadcast. Wow. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Liz Truss, Foreign Secretary. God, how old is this? Before she tanked the economy. Well done. Wow. It's like historic, isn't it? I mean, if you capture these files, they're like historic. Wow. Well, pop in my pants. Well, I don't know how you feel about that. I'm quite tickled that I got it working. You know, that's like tick, you know. I was very interested in the analog capabilities of the great Scott gadget, the Hack RF that I did last week. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. And I was very taken aback with it, and I know they can do digital broadcasts as well, probably just as well, if not better, than this other goodie I've got. But I had to find out what an industry standard modulator can do and how it works. And with this as another tool in my arsenal, I can figure out all sorts of kind of cool things for the studio and for my R&D. I like to play with analog television, digital television, all that sort of thing, as well as a sort of side to the media transfers and things that I do here at Avtransfers. So if you're looking for AV transfer type work, if you're looking for media transfers, film transfers, sound transfers, recorded media onto digital, there's no better place in the UK, with respect to my competitors, there's no better place in the UK to bring your material. So for now, it's Howard from Avtransfers saying adios.